You've always known there was something about you that didn't quite blend in with everyone else. Maybe you tried to conform, to shrink a little, to not take up too much space, but deep down, there was always this quiet truth pulsing inside. I am not like the others, and that truth is not something to fear or to hide from. It is something to embrace. Being different is not your weakness. It is your signature. It is the mark of divine purpose on your life. From a very early age, you may have sensed that your heart beat to a different rhythm. While others were content with the surface, you searched for depth. While others found joy in noise, you found peace in silence. You weren't trying to be unique, you just were. This sense of sacred separation is not a flaw, it is a divine distinction. You have been set apart, not cast aside. When you are marked by God, your soul carries a frequency that doesn't always harmonize with the world around you. And that can feel isolating. It can make you question your worth or wonder if you're missing something everyone else seems to have figured out. But what if, instead of something being wrong with you, something very right is happening through you? You see, the world has always been transformed by people who didn't fit the mold. The prophets, the healers, the visionaries, the creatives, none of them blended in. They were tuned in to a higher calling, and because of that, they often walked alone. You might not realize it, but your difference is divine. It's not just your personality, it's your purpose. People who are marked by God often have a heightened sensitivity to the energy of a room, the emotions of others, the pain in the world. That's not random, it's a spiritual gift. You weren't created to be desensitized or indifferent. You were designed to feel deeply so you can love widely. That sensitivity, that intensity, that depth, they're all part of your spiritual wiring. You are built to reflect heaven on earth, and that requires a soul that doesn't go numb. Being different means your values might not align with what's popular. You may not crave what others chase. Your idea of success may not involve applause, but peace. Your dreams may not follow the linear path. You may not desire things that look shiny on the outside. And that's okay. In fact, it's sacred. When you're marked by God, your desires are often rooted in eternity. You want things that matter. You long for connection, truth, meaning, purpose. You are called to things that money can't buy and status can't provide. That longing in you is holy. It is your compass. Because you're different, you may have gone through seasons of loneliness or rejection. You may have tried to dim your light just to fit into places where you were never meant to belong. But here's the truth. The places that couldn't see you were never meant to hold you. You were not created to conform. You were created to transform. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out so others could see what's possible when a soul aligns with spirit. Being different is not easy, but it's powerful. It means you were entrusted with something rare. You are not walking an ordinary path because your life is not meant to produce ordinary fruit. The very things that make you too much in the eyes of others are the things that make you perfect in the eyes of God. Your tenderness, your truth, your vision, your intensity, these are not burdens. And when you finally stop apologizing for being different, when you stop trying to shrink into boxes you were never designed to fit in, you begin to radiate. Your authenticity becomes your anointing. You walk into rooms and shift atmospheres, not because you're loud, but because you're real. You carry a frequency that reminds others of who they truly are. So let this be your sacred permission. You don't have to fit in. You don't have to make yourself smaller. You don't have to explain your depth to people who only know how to swim in the shallow. You are different because you are marked. And that mark is not something placed on you to weigh you down. It's there to lift you into who you are always meant to be. You are not too much. You are not you are divinely different. And that difference is your destiny. There's something powerful about the soul that has walked through fire and still chooses to shine. When you are marked by God, your life is not exempt from struggle. In fact, it often feels like you've been chosen for the harder road. But that road isn't punishment, it's preparation. The wounds you carry, the losses you've endured, the tears you've cried in silence, none of it was in vain. All of it was part of your becoming. You didn't just survive the storm. You absorbed its lessons, gathered its wisdom, and came out of it with a deeper compassion, a more refined faith, and a strength that cannot be taught. You've known pain intimately. You've known what it means to lose things, people, seasons you thought you couldn't live without. You've had to let go when you weren't ready. You've had to move forward when your heart was still healing. And yet, here you are, not broken, but transformed. There's a sacredness in being tried by fire. The world may only see the glow, the resilience, the grace you now carry, but you know what it cost. You know the nights you couldn't sleep, the days you had to function through the fog, the moments you had to fake a smile when your soul was screaming, and somehow you didn't let it make you bitter. Somehow you allowed it to soften you instead. That is no small thing. That is the mark of God. When a person is truly marked, they are refined by adversity, not destroyed by it. Challenges do not cancel their calling, they clarify it. The trials are not there to diminish them, but to deepen them. Every battle you fought has carved wisdom into your spirit. Every heartbreak has expanded your capacity to love. Every time you were misunderstood, rejected, or overlooked, you became more anchored in your own truth. You don't just know healing, you embody it. You've seen what it's like to fall apart, and you've chosen again and again to gather the pieces and build something more beautiful each time. That's divine resilience. That's not something the world teaches, that's something the Spirit breathes into you. There is a sacred energy around someone who has suffered and still loves, who has been abandoned and still shows up for others, who has walked alone and still chooses connection. That's you. You may have wondered why your life has had such intensity, why certain things hit you harder than they do for others, why your paths seem to carry more weight, more lessons, more loss. The answer isn't that you're cursed, it's that you're chosen. God doesn't waste battles on people with no purpose. The very fact that you've gone through what you have is proof that you are being shaped for something greater than what's visible right now. The fire didn't come to consume you, it came to reveal you. But it's not just about your healing, it's about what your healing activates in others. Because you've been through it, you can see people differently. You don't judge quickly, you don't minimize pain, you listen with your whole heart. You know how to show up when others run. That is your ministry, that is your calling. Not in a pulpit or spotlight, but in the everyday moments where your presence becomes a safe space for others to rest in. People marked by God often carry a quiet strength, not loud, not boastful, but felt. They walk into a room and carry peace, not because life has been easy, but because they've made peace with life. They've forgiven things that tried to break them. They've chosen grace over bitterness. They've decided that their light is more important than their wounds. And that decision, that daily choice to keep showing up, is what makes them powerful beyond words. So don't be ashamed of your past, your pain, your process. It is all holy. It is all part of your anointing. You are not here in spite of what you've been through. You are here because of it. The fire didn't scar you. It crowned you. Every moment you didn't give up became a declaration that your story still matters. You are marked, not because you have avoided the flames, but because you have emerged from them with gold in your spirit. You are not just a survivor. You are a sacred proof that light still lives, even after the dark. And that, beloved, is a miracle.